So, welcome back to the Dare Show podcast. Here we have the fifth and sixth episode of Married at First Sight, the Unmatchables. Now, if you don't know what this is, there's Married at First Sight, the regular TV show, and so they did a little spinoff for the people who are undateable. They can't even get a date, or they need help. And episode 5, all of them needed help. My God. So let's talk about Gabrielle and Brandon on Therapist at First Sight, because I think both of them needed a therapist. They didn't. They did not need Pastor Cal and Dr. Viviana's help, because what a mess this was. Gabrielle, she's 27. Gabrielle's gorgeous. Gabrielle lost a lot of weight. Is she 27? Gabrielle looks like a good 35. I don't know what 27. I mean, I'm 27 and I don't look nothing. I mean, okay, I shouldn't be comparing everybody, but Gabrielle does not look 27. I'm like, she has to be lying. But anyways, she has a leg fetish, specifically a bow-legged fetish. She likes to spin. It gives her energy or something. I don't know. And she has a lot of TMI conversation, a lot of TMI thoughts that she tells people, like, girl, I pee in the shower, or, you know, if I got a tissue around me, I just want my boogers on the carpet, that kind of nasty stuff that nobody needs to know. She's never been in a relationship, and she stays ghosting people. I think she was the one. Yeah, I think she's the one that's always she was like dating somebody. Oh yeah. I think she dated somebody. Either she dated somebody incarcerated, and or dated somebody for like a year over text. Like, she'll only text, like a text relationship. I don't know what the hell that means. But she's like, he lives like 11 miles away, but we texted each other for a year. And I was just like, okay. So then we have Brandon. Brandon's 34. Child, Brandon gives me a headache. Brandon gave me a head pounding ache. I was just like, Brandon / Legend. Now, Legend is his alter ego. Brandon / Legend. I'm sorry. Okay, I need to pick somebody, because I'm not going to be like he was. Brandon has been single for 9 years. His parents, both his parents are deceased. And I think he was just mourning in an unhealthy way, because he has his alter ego character called Legend, where Legend plays into his occupation as a club promoter, where he, bottles, women's, titties, dancing. So I think that's how he kind of like either that happened already, or it enhanced when his parents were deceased. And I think, like I said, I think he's mourning in an unhealthy way with this Legend character. He's very, obsessed with Marvel. He's very quirky, super quirky, and it's just too much. I said he doesn't need he doesn't need a date. He needs a therapist. My God. So Brandon was dressed up as for his like little, let's work on you, give you tools to become a better dater. Brandon, Dr. Viviana had him dress up as Legend, the superhero character that he portrays himself as. And she was just like, I want you to, go find a date, go find a girl, go pick up girls. And he's like, girl, that ain't nothing but a word. You ain't said nothing but a word. I'm gonna get it done, give me my money, get it started. And so he goes and tries to, talk to these, higher. I think one of them was a real, not, or two of them. I think two of them weren't, like paid actresses. But he goes up to like these women that are like walking down the street, and he's like, "Yeah, well, girl, what's up? Let's go pop bottles." And they're like, "Sir, you better get away from us before we mace your ass. And it was just like really funny. It wasn't funny. It was just like, child, these episode in 5 and 6 were kind of boring. I feel like maybe they're produced, heavily produced after after what's her name, Stephanie and Irvin, after that hot mess that went down. I think that was some real shit. But Brandon and Gabrielle, they were kind of boring. So he ends up not being able to pick up anybody. And she ends up throwing the suit away, saying, you need to find a balance between both. And literally, okay, wait till we get to the date part. They end up throwing it up in flames, burning it up. He's like, all right, I guess I'll do it. I'll let go of Legend. And what was I about to say? Legend, Brandon. Oh, Brandon didn't get a Pastor Cal moment. It was just Brandon and Dr. Viviana. Okay, but anyways, let's go on to Gabrielle. So Gabrielle goes on this speed dating thing, goes on a speed date with Pastor Cal's supervision. And he puts on this buzzer because, she's always like getting in people's business and saying TMI stuff and just a mess with her with her language. So he puts on this, candy coated buzzer on her thigh. I thought he was gonna put it on her arm. He put it on her thigh. I was like, are we getting freaky in here? So she's doing the speed dating and she's asking nasty questions or giving them nasty answers or like I forgot she's being very judgmental. She was like, one of the days says something. She was like, oh, so you eat off the value meal? And then another date was like, I work a lot. So she's like, do you even have time to date? Would you even have time to date me? And basically I was just steady buzzing that thigh. I was just like, oh my gosh. So she's like, okay, wow. Okay, I do have an issue with my thoughts coming out of my mouth. Like, girl, bring it on down before we get blowing up in here. She was very judgmental. So then she goes on a photo shoot with Miss Viviana, and we find out, she has real body issues. She lost a lot of weight, so she's not confident in her new body. She's not confident. She wants to like cover up her arms. She looked really delicious. And we found out she dated some dude in jail. I'm just like, from Real Housewives of Atlanta to Love During Lockup. I'm like, come on, can we pick a show to stick with? This was so like crazy. Like, how do you date somebody in jail? I don't understand. Love During Lockup. Shout out to them. So then Dr. Viviana's like, okay, girl, it's time for you to... I don't know what happened. Cause it just seemed like a switch. Like all of a sudden she was like not comfortable with her body to all of a sudden being comfortable with her body that she came out naked. I was just like, oh. So she ended up taking like these sort of nude photos, titties hanging out, pussy popping out. The Lifetime cameras are capturing all this. I'm just like, girl, can we put like a little sheet on right quick? It was just like, wow. So all of a sudden, she takes these nudes, she's posing, she's dipping it, she's doing it, she's rocking it, she's rolling it. I was like, okay, so she found a little confidence. I guess that quick? Okay, whatever. So they both go on this date, and I have to say, this cooking date was a bad idea because I feel like they had to definitely... Like, if you're cooking something, you have to pay attention to it. You have to read the directions. You have to make sure you're doing it right so it won't come out bad, as we find out that it comes out bad at the end of the date. The food didn't come out that good. And they were making pasta. They're making fresh pasta. And even though that, I don't think either of them have ever made fresh pasta or know about making fresh pasta, but you got to, put work into it. You got to know the ingredients, make sure you mix it all well. The pasta was looking absolutely like wet. It needed some more flour. It was like, oh gosh. Okay, so anyways, Miss Danielle. Okay, I don't know why Brandon slash legend slash I need therapy. I don't know why he kept wearing this red, like, Asian inspired shirt. I was just like, do you not have another shirt? Like, I saw that shirt at least like 3 times. And like, whatever it was, like 45-minute show. It was too much. But, anyways, so they're cooking, and he's like, immediately, she wants him to take the lead. She's like, I don't know what we're doing. He's like, oh, we're cooking. So she's like, can you take the lead? He's like, can you take the lead? Like, when he said Brandon was different than Legend, he really meant that shit. Like, Brandon was very shy. He was literally shy. He was literally a recluse and literally like introverted. All three of those put together. Like, it was like no conversation. It was really like awkward. I was just like, oh gosh, you gotta break into this. So she, who ended up taking the lead? She ended up taking the lead while he was like cooking, and they ended up kind of warming up to each other. But she became very judgmental over him with like his life goals. He was like, I want to like own a club, and she was like, club, nigga, what? It was like, oh wait, why are you? Why are you? Why are you acting like this? She's just very judgmental. But like I said, they end up like warming up. He ended up warming up and talking, but he really warmed up when she was like, yeah, so I guess like at this point now, in the beginning, like I said, like the first couple of episodes, they were really good. Then I feel like we went to like the tippity top, the climax of drama with Stephanie and Irvin. And now we're kind of like slowing down, and we're kind of seeing sort of like the same thing happen, like them talking about, they weren't really talking about like themselves. Mostly now they're talking about, excuse me, what the mentors had them working on. So I'm just like, oh, okay, kind of breaking that fourth wall ish in a way down, in my opinion. Wait a minute. But she started like saying, yeah, they had me like working on my confidence and stuff. And we had like taken some new pictures. He's like, new pictures? Like, Legend jumped up. Brandon jumped up too. Talk about some new pictures. He wanted to see them. That girl's new picture. He's like, do you have any? Do you have any evidence? I want to see them. Can I see them? And she's like, well, okay, I guess. And she just starts showing him her titties and ass. I'm like, oh my gosh. But I do respect that she was comfortable. She was clearly comfortable doing it, showing the world, showing all of us. She was comfortable doing it, and she was like, I get to express myself, and I get to show myself, but I get to show I get to make the boundaries. And I was like, okay. As long as you said that, that was pretty okay. He was like, I don't know if he was into her or not. I know he needs to be into some therapy, but I don't know if he was into her, but because he was just like, they ate the food at the end. It was horrible. And she's like, oh my God, this is horrible. And he's like, yeah, it is horrible. Can I just buy you another dinner? I'll just pay for you another dinner. And she's like, oh, you want to pay me for me another dinner? I was like, he didn't ask you another date. He literally said, I want to pay for your another dinner. That would be like the gentleman thing to do. So I was cracking up. But anyways, they ended up, and I wrote down she flopped. I was trying to figure out who grew more. And I think maybe she grew more. But I wrote down she flopped. We're learning at the end. We learn that she's going on real dates, and that he is fighting this battle. Oh, he's still fighting the battle between Legend and Brandon. I was just like, oh my gosh. I think did he grow more? I'm gonna say he flopped, because he really only became interested in her when she talked about nudes, which is a part of that Legend alter ego titties, titties, ass, ass, drinks, drinks man. So I think she probably grew a lot more. So shout out to Gabrielle. So let's get into episode 6. So let's talk about episode 6 of The Unmatchables. Married at First Sight, The Unmatchables. This one, I'm so glad we're almost at the end. There's 7 and 8, and then we'll be done. Because it's getting a little boring, but I want to finish off the series right quick. Danielle was boring. I feel like Danielle was kind of boring. Danielle was 30. Niraj is 29, who we meet. Danielle. She's a conspiracy theorist. She believes that conspiracies are the truth. She also wants to be like a polygamist, but she wants an open marriage, but she also wants to be does she believe in monogamy? I forgot. She wants marriage, but she wants to have an open marriage. So her and Pastor Cal Her and Pastor Cal go, and he tries to convince her, or tries to like get her to see that polygamy is just as much work as monogamy. So she's meeting with like these 4 guys, and at the end, they play this game worth $500, and however much stuff she can remember from talking with the guys, she gets the money. So for some reason, I pretty much won the game, because he asked her what kind of food does one guy like in his spaghetti, and he said sausage, onions, and bell peppers. He asked what was the zodiac of one guy. One guy said he was an Aquarius. The guy said he was a Leo. He asked the locations of the guys. One guy was from here, Shreveport, which I was like, what the fuck? But he sounded like he was from New Orleans, which is funny. But he was from the one was from Shreveport, one was from Brooklyn, one was from College Park. Where's the other one from? I think Phoenix or something like that. But so pretty much, I won and Danielle didn't. She ended up getting $30. So she was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of difficult, but I don't think that's how polygamy is. The thing was, Danielle, she was just like, she doesn't want to commit to somebody. When she went up to go on the date, she was like, I don't want to commit to somebody who is not fun. And I'm like, well, that's why you go on dates and you date people. You don't, like, what's not clicking, Danielle? She didn't come off as dumb. She just come off as like, she's saying dumb-ish stuff. But anyways, so Chris from Housewives of Potomac gave her a polygraph test, I'm sorry. He wasn't Chris, but he looked like Chris from Housewives of Potomac, Candace's husband. But this old bald man with a beard gave her a polygraph test, and we ended up finding, out that I don't see this one. I'm like, I don't know if this is fake or not, because it just seemed so simple. And she just seemed so shocked, and like she was like learning from something. But she was just like, we learned that, she's putting up a defense saying that she wants to be in a polygamous relationship because she's been hurt in the past by guys cheating on her and stuff like that. So I'm like, that's all? Okay, girl. Whatever. So Niraj works with robots. He's 29. He works in, his robot work is very mathematical. He comes out very arrogant towards women. He plans dates literally like a robot. Like, okay, date 1, date 1, he's like, we generally go to like a park or something. Date 2, we go to like something physical, like a museum, or we go hiking. And then date 3, we go da-da-da. It's just like, girl, come on. He wants to tell you all the information that he knows in his mind, and he acts like a show off. It was just like, he was doing too much. But we end up finding out that, where did he go with Dr. Viviana? Oh, he goes to, wait, no. I forgot where he went with Dr. Viviana, but we end up finding out that he gives this cold representative on dates when he's very planning and very structured. This goes that way, that goes this way. When, he wants to date women, she's like, I know where they went. They went to this dungeon. We went to Candy Sex Dungeon over in Atlanta. And Mistress, like, what's her name? Like, I think it started with like a D. It was probably like Daisy or something. Mistress Daisy tied him up and, locked him in the cage and blindfolded him and was like, bitch, you my bitch now, Niraj. I was like, oh, here we go. I don't know if he liked it or not. I don't know if he liked it or not. It was interesting to watch him. So on that, we end up finding, he ends up like learning, I can't give this cold representative to these women because I'm coming off, like, if they say you're coming off arrogant, you need to start saying, like, I can't. So then he goes with Pastor Cal to build a bitch, and he's like, Niraj, what kind of woman do you like? He's like, I want this kind of hair, this kind of waist, this kind of size. And at the end of the day, he's like, you need to normalize your standards because real women, he brought in some like real women from Atlanta. And he's like, real women would expect you to be something else. So why are you expecting women to be a certain way? Like, you need to normalize and in a way take away some of your crazy ass standards so you can get a girl. So they end up going on this date, and I guess it was just like a bar date, because when Niraj and Danielle came in, he was like, when Danielle came in, he was like, I already prepped the whiskey drinks, being controlling. I already prepped the whiskey drinks for the bartender, and he's gonna make it look right. He's gonna make it look nice, right? Right, dude, right? And she was kind of like turned off by it. And she was like, what the hell? I'm like, what the hell too? Like, you spiking the drinks too? While you're at it? Like, you need to tone it down, sir. She, like I said earlier, she said she didn't want to commit to someone because she doesn't know if they're fun or not. And I'm like, girl. So she started like reading him down. She was like, I need you to tell me what industrial engineering is. And he was just like, she was so cracking jokes. She was like, I need you to tell me what industrial engineering is. And he's like, basically, I help people make their lives easier. So she's like, are you a hitman? I was cracking up. She was cracking him up too. But she was reading him down. It was really funny. I think she flopped more because her quirky side came out. He became more, I think when, okay, I don't know, maybe they didn't flop, but they kind of complemented each other because he goes into this like script and planning mode, and with her being this quirky conspiracy theory, weird, quirky person, she brings the spontaneity towards the date. And so he has to throw all that control away because she's like, I have to show you something. I have to give you something right now. I'm a visualizer of my husband. I'm a visualizer of everything. So she goes in her purse and she brings out this ring and she's like, I need you to propose to me because you are now going to be my husband. And he's like, okay. So they propose and they're mixing drinks and she's shaking and bopping and locking in the drinks. And she's like, I still don't know what it is. What is it? I still don't know what industrial engineer is. Like, she's like, I couldn't tell you what an industrial engineer is because he couldn't tell me what an industrial engineer is. She was cracking jokes. She was funny. She was being very fun. She was being very fun, which I think he needed. What do I want to say at the end? They end up dancing at the beginning. We found out Niraj loves dancing, and so he's like, normally I wouldn't dance with a woman on a first date, but because, you know, we're here, we might as well just do it. They were dancing. She was kind of feeling it. He was feeling it. I was like, okay, we had a little connection, a little moment. Did they go on a second date? I don't know. They kind of kept it up in the air with, you know, the like storyline. Like she is keeping that top secret, and he has information, top secret information he's not telling us, you know, that robot shit. But um I think they might have went on a second date. He did say he found her interesting. We'll see. I mean, not that we'll see. But anyways, who flopped? I kind of feel like she flopped in a way. I'm gonna say none of them. I'm gonna say none. Both of them didn't flop. Because she didn't really have an issue. Besides, her issue really was like polygamy. And they were trying to just start her in a different direction when it comes to polygamy. So, because, like I said, her fun quirkiness mixed with his controlling, canceled his controlling out, and they both end up looking like they had a great time. So that's all I'm going to say for Marriage at First Sight, The Unmatchables, episode 6, with Naraj and Danielle. Next, we have 7 and 8. Let's get through it. Hopefully they're a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more fun than the past 2 episodes. Thank you for listening. I'm on podcast. Thank you for listening to the Dare Show podcast. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple. I'm on Google Play. I'm also on YouTube. Yeah. Check me out.